Good evening. Would like to welcome you all to the proceedings of the Grand Rapids Public School Board of Education. It is Monday, December 1st. Would you please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Ross is out of town, so I've asked Pastor Moody to serve as secretary. Could you please take the roll?
Yes, ma'am. Reverend Matias. Moody, present. John O'Connor.
Present.
Dr. Randalls.
Present.
Mr. Ross. Ms. Slate.
Present.
Mr. Baker.
Here.
Mr. LeGrand. Dr. Falk.
Present. Thank you, Pastor Moody. Do I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Support for that?
Support.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Next on the agenda are the celebrations.
Thank you, Dr. Falk. Members of the board, I would like to ask Ron Gorman to come forward.
Superintendent Neal, President Fall, members of the board, thank you for allowing us to speak this evening. We have a wonderful celebration to share with you. The team from Innovation Central is here with me this evening, and I'd like to ask at this time Mr. Gideon Sanders, who is the Assistant Principal and Director of Innovative Strategies, if he could join me. And then in just a second, he is going to bring some students up who had a wonderful, wonderful trip. I'd also like to bring Mr. Frost to the front, please. Mr. Frost, can you just sit here, please, if you don't mind? A couple of years ago, when we were planning Innovation Central, working collaboratively with the Board of Education, we wanted to create this wonderful school with all these different career paths. And in addition to having one high school right downtown Grand Rapids, in addition to having a wonderful high school with these career paths, we also wanted to ensure that our students had the opportunity to attend lots of functions and go on lots of trips, not just nationally but internationally. Mr. Gideon Sanders, who comes from the DC public schools, had many trips where he took students abroad. And this year, Mr. Sanders had the opportunity, in collaboration with Mr. Frost, to take some students to China. And this evening, we have a very short presentation for you where our students from Innovation Central would like to tell you about the week they spent in China. So with that, Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Gorman. Dr. Falb, Superintendent Neal, fellow board members, thank you very much for letting us come and speak. I'd like to invite at this time the three students, Teresa Van Dyke, a senior in the Academy of Business Leadership and Entrepreneurship, Hannah Jones, a junior in the same academy, and Justice Scholes, a sophomore in the same academy, to join me up here. I also want to recognize that Ms. Cottage is here as well, one of the youth advocates at the school, and she is also she was one of the other, well, she was the other chaperone along with myself to China. Ms. Anderson, do you mind if
Nice.
you put the lights? We have put together a presentation. The first part is going to be some rolling pictures without much explanation while I let you know what we're doing, and then the students will have an opportunity. So we really have tried to offer opportunities to the students that we do not see in the districts around this area. Recently, I saw a picture in the paper when they described the top 5 high schools in the area on the top 500 ranking, and Forest Hill Northern, I believe, had a picture of them holding their flag on the Great Wall of China. Well, there's our representation with our Innovation Central. Great Wall of China. We value these experiences outside of the classroom and really try to make it so that the students get an opportunity to learn and put into reality and practicality what they're seeing in the classroom and what they're hearing from the speakers that we've brought. This trip was not simply about different cultures. It was not simply about having fun. It was not simply about building relationships with students from a foreign country, but it was also about the academic portion of the trip. We really tried to balance everything, but as I told the students as we prepared to leave, this was a trip that was a business trip for them. They were about their academics, and in between we tried to squeeze in a 5-mile hike on the Great Wall, a boat trip in Tianjin, which you see here, as well as the flag raising on Tiananmen Square at 6 a.m. in the morning, and a trip to the Summer Palace. So we really tried to balance everything that they were doing, and I think you'll hear from their presentations that there was quite a balance of those items in this experience. So with that, I am going to speed through the last few, simply because I want to make sure that we give the kids as much time as possible. And I'd like to begin with Ms. Van Dyke. So Teresa?
Madam President, Superintendent Neal, and the present board members, I was thrown into a world of macroeconomic situations. One of those was the PPP, or the public-private partnership, the public being the economies and the private being the corporations supporting them. The PPP is where projects are pooled together to be chosen from supporting. After chosen, the project gets proposed and money from supporting economies start to get gathered. APEC wanted to gather projects and money to set up a better economic foundation and economic relationships. The PPP stretches farther than I could ever imagine, even into our own communities. While I was there, I got to meet numerous amazing people. One of them being Blair, who we got to have a more personal relationship, being friends on a young adult, which I don't get to do a lot. And then there was a guy, Shane, who we walked through the Great Wall of China together, discussing the money, basically, and how confused we are together on each other's money systems. While there, we met a lot of college students, and they asked us a lot of questions. Most of them I did not know how to answer. And it was interesting, the questions that they asked, starting from how our weather was and our sleep patterns, oddly enough. Being outside the United States was very different for me, since I hardly ever leave Grand Rapids. And at the time, I would always just look around like, this seems like I'm in a foreign country. Wait, I am. While traveling, my face was always like plastered against the windows, trying to look around and see everything that I could ever see. And Tianjin was definitely the most beautiful place that I have ever been to. And it had a lot of Western influences, so it kept on reminding me of home and how much I love it here, but I would definitely go back there if I had the opportunity.
Thank you, Teresa. Now we'll hear from Ms. Jones.
Madam President, Superintendent Neal, and board members, thank you for letting me share my experience with you guys. We went to a flag raising in Tiananmen Square, and that was very, very interesting because there's 10,000 people, and we actually split up the girls and the boys on accident, and we were both on two opposite sides, and Mr. Sanders and Justice got to see it up close. We were kind of far, and it was still amazing. It was so many people, we didn't know that they had so much pride in their country, and what they do. So that was a very good experience. The Great Wall of China. That showed me I could do more than what I thought I could do. It gave me more motivation to push not only there but in other aspects of life. Yeah, the scenery was amazing. Like I just couldn't keep my eyes off stuff. Like I was getting lost just staring at things. But there's these women who try to chaperone you basically up the stairs and down the stairs and try to help you. And my little personal lady, she made me actually buy something from her so I could know where we ate lunch at. So I ended up spending 200 RMB on some chopsticks and a fan, which I could have spent like 15, but I didn't know that until we went shopping. So
We've all been there.
yeah, she got me. And oh, here's a video of us walking the
Sean.
The adventure, yeah, I couldn't compare nothing to it. I could do anything in the world and I still couldn't compare to what we did there. It opened my eyes about a lot. And it showed me you don't like every food that you eat because like I tried it but it wasn't the best I've had, but it was definitely an experience. But the shopping experience, yeah, I had to come back because she took my money, so I had to get it back. So I bartered with a lot of people, and basically, I got what I needed for cheaper than what they were trying to sell it for.
Thank you, Hannah, appreciate that. And now you hear from Justice Scholes.
Madam President, Superintendent, and board members, I want to briefly talk about some of the business side of the trip. Let's first start with Model APEC. It is sort of similar to Model UN, whereas Model UN it focuses on international problems with all countries, and Model APEC focuses on more of the problems on the Asian Pacific side. Focuses on the economies in the Asian Pacific area, I should say. And so how this happened was Hannah, Teresa, and I, we were all given an economy to represent. We were given South Korea. Some of the other Chinese students, they were given various other economies. So we first started with the introduction. It's Shelly there. He's the one sitting down. He introduced us, or he started the introduction. We had a couple of guest speakers come. They talked to us about how important it is, what we're doing. And we had basically then moved on, and then we had to research some of the problems that our economy was facing. Our economy in particular, South Korea, was facing energy, trade, and internal security problems such as counterterrorism. So we were then given some time to research that problem. And after we had done our research for about 15 minutes, we had then split up and we had done caucusing with some of the other students, and we had talked to some of the other students about what problems they were facing in their economy. I in particular talked to some of the students representing America, and then after we had finished that, we would then got back in our groups, and then we came to a consensus about what our findings were, and then we had to present them in front of everyone. And I must say that was actually pretty interesting because some of the Chinese students, they couldn't speak English as well as we can, of course, but it was kind of difficult, but also interesting to try to communicate and to make sure that all our ideas got fully across. Next, I'll talk about the food. This was very interesting, I should say. I tried a lot of things I've never tried before, and I will say I enjoyed it. I will say that. Oh my God. This is a picture of when I'm eating. Okay. Let's just start at the beginning, shall we? We had sat down. I didn't know what to order. I asked for a recommendation, and they recommended this. They said it was chicken. I started eating it, and halfway through the plate, like, it was good. So I wasn't really paying attention. It was really good. And as I was eating it, I found a chicken head. And I picked it up with my chopstick, and the tongue fell out of his mouth. I pretty much lost my appetite after that. This was the Tai Chi. This was pretty interesting because this is the calligraphy and I'm gonna do it. Yeah, whatever. This was pretty interesting. We saw this man, he was writing some of the Chinese characters on the ground, and it was pretty interesting to see how how to say this, he put a lot of, I want to say emotion or a lot of passion into each stroke, and it was just really something to see how he did it, and the lines were amazing. And then this is Mr. Sanders. He was participating in the game with some of the locals. It was, I guess you could say it's sort of similar to hacky sack, whereas they have a bag of rice and some feathers attached to it. Mr. Sanders, he played with the locals. He thought he was good.
Well, I got to say, Justice, I brought the average age of that group down about 30 years.
And lastly, this is the flag raising Hannah talked about earlier. I was a lot closer to the flag when I actually saw it, whereas they were back there they were kind of under the Mao picture, and I was like right there next to the pole. It was really interesting to see how, I want to say, how dependent, no, not dependent, how, what's the good word? How, Chinese, they use their cell phones a lot. Like, you would think that in America, you think we have a problem with how much people are on their cell phones. It is just a lot worse over in China. Literally, everyone we saw had a phone, an iPad, or something. It's kind of different to see how they live their lives through their digital world, like through videos and picture, as in, I think in America, we try to live our lives through like our memories. We try to relive the experience through our memories. I guess that was sort of different.
Great. So I hope you can have appreciation for what the students experienced and how much they grew from this, each one of them individually in a different way. It was fantastic to get to do this trip. This is actually the second time that I've done this same trip, but instead of experiencing it myself, I actually got to experience it through the eyes of the students, which was much appreciated. Anna, you wanted to say one more thing? Or, I'm sorry, Teresa. Sorry, Anna.
I would like to thank all of you for letting us come here and speak, and I would like to present you guys with some gifts.
Oh.
And all the... Thank you, guys.
Well,
Thank you.
can I say?
Mr. Frost. Mark. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right. No, I was gonna take it off. Hope you didn't pay too much for them.
Right, did you use our? Questions I would like Mr. Frost to get a chance to just share a little bit about the experience for being able to send your students to China.
Well, it's like Gideon said, or Mr. Gorman said at the beginning, we're looking out of this school for opportunities for students, for experiences, and that's what we're doing. And so this is just one slice of it. You know, we have field trips, we have job shadows, we have internships, we have all kinds of things that are going on, but also things in the making. So this school, you know, we've said from the very beginning, we want to make it a great school, and we're doing that. And so we have tremendous family support, tremendous community support. It's been really unbelievable who's looking to partner with us. I just met last week with somebody new and somebody else today. Some people that are really excited about getting in their schools, giving students opportunities and experiences, as I said before. So it really is a great school and a great option for all the students who are coming into high school in this district. So.
Good team.
One last thing before I forgot, I want to mention that all three students have a parent here. Ms. Byron, if you could stand up. Ms. Brooks, if you could stand up. And Ms. Van Dyke, if you could stand up.
Good, yes.
We had a lot of different feelings about it.
Nice, thank you.
One parent was very eager to push the child out the door. The other one was a little reticent. Got them all backstage. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great opportunity. I have one more brief celebration, and I would ask Mr. Kurt Johnson to come forward, please.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Madam President, Superintendent Neal, and distinguished board members. Welcome back. That was a wonderful opportunity
That was
that you,
awesome.
the board and superintendent provides for the students. You know, discovery lends a new starting point, and those kids will remember that trip for the rest of their lives. So it speaks volumes on the things that our board and our superintendent does for our students. Just a quick snapshot of an event that you all had this past weekend, our Thanksgiving Day run. We experienced a lot of success with that run there. We had targeted about 1,500 runners to participate there, and we surpassed that goal the night before the race even started. So it was a phenomenal event that you all have put on and worked on. We had Dr. Tony Baker there. I see he's wearing a new accessory.
Yeah, it's a powder burn.
Did not have.
I think. No.
He was trying to win.
Wrestling the turkey.
That had me worried there because he was our official starter. So he started the main race and he started the children's race with that hand there, and it didn't have that on there. We love having a part of that because he really knows a lot about that whole racing culture and that community. So we really appreciate you being a part there and supporting that event there. Tonight I want to bring forward to you our all-conference athletes for the fall season there. And you will hear from the athletic directors some of the amazing accomplishments and performances that these student athletes, and we don't call them players, you know, of sports, but we call them student athletes. And you'll hear some of the wonderful accomplishments in terms of being represented in the conference, representing the district, and also some record-breaking performances from these student athletes. So with no further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. Walker from Union High School to come on up. And as you see on your tables, you'll have postcards of them. If you flip them over, you'll see pictures of all the kids.
Oh, that's great.
Well, good evening, everyone, President Faub, Superintendent Neal, board members. Thank you for allowing myself to come in and brag about my kids, my student athletes. I got to have to call them my kids. They become a part of you after a while, but I couldn't be more proud of being the athletic director at Union High School. These young men and young women have done a great job representing themselves, their families, their coaches. I know we have some of their parents here tonight, along with a couple of coaches. They do a great job of representing Union as well as Grand Rapids Public Schools, and I can say without a doubt that you will be very proud of the things that they did on the field or in the pool and the way they carried themselves as being great citizens in the hallway at their schools. This year, we had 11 all-conference spots for our athletes, and they did things from girls swim with Anna DeBraber, a freshman who set 2 school records this year already in both the 100-meter back and the 100-meter fly. And then we also had a diver, Morgan Hitchens, who finished 19th in the state of Michigan in the sport of dive, so that was a great accomplishment. And then our tennis team was led by Chase Murphy and Rowan Cochran. This year, our tennis team finished 3rd in the OK Black Conference. This is the highest our tennis team has finished in a number of years. Actually, I believe since entering the OK Black. So behind Chase and Rowan, our tennis team really made some strides this year. Our soccer program, led by Manny Lopez, Ramiro Garcia, Chris Santana, Salvador Aldima, and Ghislaine, he's going to kill me if I mess up his name again, Mele Mungo, did a great job representing Union this year. Second place in the conference, one goal away from an all-conference win. It just didn't go our way, but these young men did a great job representing Union High School throughout the entire year. Volleyball, Tyra Williams made all-conference. She was one of the team leaders in all major categories when it comes to the stats with the kills, the digs, and she was a unanimous selection to the all-conference team by the OK Black coaches. And usually with that all-conference, it's tough to get a unanimous vote, but without a doubt, they realized that she was one of the best and did a great job representing Union High School this year. And lastly, our cross-country runners, Bruce Burstra and Chris Santana. Again, Chris made it in 2 sports this fall, cross-country and soccer. Both finished in the top 5 of the conference throughout the year, and Chris was also a state qualifier for the all-conference this year. So we're very excited about the things that's going on at Union High School, and we thank you for your support. It means a lot to our student athletes when they see you out at their events, at the games, and those things. So they notice, and we notice as well. So I'd like to say thank you for your support, and thank you for allowing me to come here today and brag on my kids. So I will go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Harris, Athletic Director at Ottawa Hills.
Good job. Thank you.
And incidentally, we've already started the winter season, so some of the athletes are in scrimmages and practices already, so they may not appear here tonight.
Thank you for having us. Good evening, President, Superintendent, board members. I'm here to brag on behalf of Ottawa Hills. Go Bengals. I'm here to share with you some of the individual accomplishments of our all-conference athletes at Ottawa Hills. We had 7 all-conference athletes this year. The wins and losses didn't come as we might have hoped for, but that still doesn't take away from what these kids accomplish during their fall seasons. So I'm going to get right into it. Many of you probably know this guy, Nick Modernowski, cross country. Nick won the individual 2014 OK Gold Conference Championship, which was held at Johnson Park. Nick took first place over a field of 41 runners to win the championship. He also earned all-conference honors. This was his 2nd consecutive year earning all-conference. So that was a great job by Nick. Juan Mora, who's one of our soccer players, he's a 2nd-year varsity player, one of our most talented players. Juan made a huge sacrifice this year as he could have led the team in scoring, but instead he played goalie and still scored 3 goals over the course of the year. Yuri Escobar, he's a 4th-year varsity player on the soccer team. He was a team captain, and he led the team in goals with 10 goals. And our soccer team this year, especially thanks to those 2 guys, had won 3 games this year. This is my 5th year at Ottawa Hills, and we had never won a soccer game. So
Good job.
they did an awesome job and won 2 league matches. So good job, soccer team. Now we're going to go into our football team. Jakari Carroll, who's our only junior with us here today. He's a 2nd-year varsity player, plays offensive guard and defensive line, and he led the team in 43 pancake blocks. So he'll be with us again next year. And many of you know this guy, Javante Jefferson. He's a 3-year varsity player. He earned all-conference for the 2nd consecutive year. He led the team in tackles with over 100 tackles and over 20 tackles for loss. And Javante, as you know, is one of our board representatives, so good job, Javante.
Nice job, Mr. Jefferson.
Another of our football players, Mr. Sean Nealon. He's a 3-year varsity player. He led the team in rushing, led the team in interceptions with 5 on the year, and was also 2nd on the team in tackles. And last but not least, Sam Bill. He was a 3-year varsity player, led the team in receptions and receiving yards, and was 2nd on the team in pass breakups and interceptions. And Sam Bill has committed to play football at Western Michigan University. So that's our 7 all-conference athletes, and like Justin said, our athletes love to see you guys cheering them on at the games. We love coming here bragging about our student athletes. Thank you, board members, for your support, superintendent, president, and especially thank you for all the parents for their support, and our coaches who are with us as well. We have Coach Ebright, who's our cross-country coach, who's with us as well. He does a great job. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great job. Good job. All right, good job. Yeah.
Congratulations. Gentlemen, you're up. Next on the agenda. What do you got for us?
No comment. I just wanted to say that the next meeting that we're going to have with the Student Leadership Council, where all the schools get together, discuss issues, will happen at the Grand Rapids Learning Center. It will happen before Christmas, so I just wanted to let everybody know about that.
Great. Thank you very much. That's great that that's convening. Pastor Moody, do we have public comment for board agenda items?
We have a public comment for the agenda items, Mrs. Louise Wilson.
All right, Ms. Wilson? It's been a while.
I know, but sometimes things are so bad I have to say something.
Oh, dear.
Sorry. Hi, I'm Louise Wilson.
Good evening.
And I'm speaking as a teacher and also as somebody who lives in Grand Rapids and pays taxes and all of those other things. And I looked at your consent agenda today, and the first thing on your purchasing list is $5,000 extra for wood chips. And it's December 1st. And a really good ground cover is snow. It's coming. You can also get wood chips free from the city of Grand Rapids. Now, I've pointed this out to grounds people, and they've said, yes, but the wood chips that we can get free from the city don't look as good as the wood chips we can buy from somewhere else. And I'm really upset. And I know that you sometimes think that I come down here and I just sort of come on a whim, and I haven't done any preparation. In June this year, I documented all of the laptops in my classroom that weren't working. And they are Title I computers. They're bought with Title I money. And Title I and Title IIB lets us pay for fixing up with that money. And I believe it's under $4,000 to fix these. And I documented them all, and I put in a request to have them fixed over the summer, because I know that MIS isn't so busy then. And I went in August and said, what's going on with the repairs? Oh, well, you didn't put that in. Because I understand that, you know, in the office at school, fixing the computers is not a priority. And Mr. Frost said, come on, let's get this done, let's send it in. So it was sent in, I think, the middle of August, because I started working at the beginning of August. And I think he was working all summer. So since certainly the end of August, the request has been sitting down in Title I office somewhere. I don't know who the Title I office person is, and Mr. Frost has some degree of self-preservation. He is not telling me who it is, because I'd be down there, you know that. But I wanted you to see, all right, what it looks like. Honestly, I don't care about the wood chips, but I care what we're giving our kids. So if you're a kid, this is what the laptop looks like that you're being given. Okay? For $29 each laptop, you can fix these laptops. Okay, some of them need hard drives. For $3,500, you can fix these laptops. I know it won't look pretty because they're laptops. You don't see them outside the school. But I've reached the point where I don't care really if the school needs paint. My kids, the kids that I see every day, I had a girl 2 months ago, she said, you know, you're too close to us. She said, you act like we're your kids. And I said, yeah, you know what? I tell you what to do, you sass me, I sass you back, but then you do the work. And I said, you know what? You look just like my kid. You are my kid. I may only have you for 2% of your day, 2% of your year, but you are my kid. And if I live in the city of Grand Rapids, which I do, and if I have kids whose education I care about, which I do, and I had $30, and I said, geez, should I get $30 of mulch that I can buy from a store, and you're going to use one of these computers to do your homework? Or should I get your computer fixed, my little love, and we can get free wood chips from the city of Grand Rapids?
Ms. Wilson,
You know what you
your
would
time's
do.
been up for a little bit.
Thank you. You know what you would do for your kids. I know what I would do for my kids. We'd be down there with a bag getting that free mulch. And I respectfully request that you take your $5,000 and not buy that mulch, but instead fix my laptops. And I never come and ask for something that's only for me. But this is a district-wide problem, but this is something that you can fix right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the Secretary's report. Pastor Mooney.
We're right here?
Yep.
Okay. The report that I have in front of me is the report of the Salvation Army's Angel Tree donation site. The Grand Rapids Public Schools Franklin campus is participating in the Salvation Army's Angel Tree Toy Drive. Please select a tag or two and purchase a toy for the drive. Please bring an item to the front desk, which is the receptionist desk, during regular business hours on Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The toys should be wrapped up with the tag, and if you would like to purchase a gift card for a teen, it is suggested that the gift card gift should be anywhere from $10 to $20. Toys and gift cards will be delivered to the Salvation Army drop site, which will be distributed to the families who are in need. The items must be received at the office by 3 p.m. on December 17th to be included with this year's distribution.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
Thank you. I will ask John Himholt to come forward briefly.
Madam President, Superintendent, members of the board. Superintendent Neal asked me to come and just provide an update on our We Are GR, We Are Proud Parents campaign. I know a few of you were able to stop by the School Choice Expo. Despite the blizzard-like conditions, we actually had a remarkable turnout, and I think that is truly attributed to the investment that we put forth, really the TV campaign, the radio, the billboards, everything started basically that first week in November and led up to the expo. We go back down again for the holidays, and then you will see that go back up again in January with a whole new round of TV and radio ads that we're in the process of filming right now. But the amount of feedback that we've received just anecdotally and just people in passing. In fact, Steve Faber and Nora Faber did one of the ads. They've recruited 5 new families already where friends called them up and said, I saw you, I heard you, and they sold them on several of the programs. And so it seems to be working, and just wanted to say thank you for your support. Kyle Prey and the grassroots team is just getting built right now, so that they've been out hitting the barbershops, beauty salons, and we're not the only kids in town. I just read an article 5 minutes ago that the Catholic Diocese just threw down on some marketing of their own. So it's that's part of this playing field. But the feedback, the engagement, the stories that we're getting, where people are saying, "Hey, I want to be in a video. I want to be on a radio ad. Here's my story." It's just remarkable. We have more stories and parents stepping up than we can actually produce the videos. So it's really awesome.
Very good.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is our purchasing agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
Moves.
Support for that?
Support.
Any discussions, deliberations? Pastor Moody?
Who made the motion?
Mr. O'Connor and Ms. Slade supported.
That's right.
You
Ready
got
for the
it.
vote?
Told you it's hard.
Yeah.
Jeez, it looks easy.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
Reverend Matias.
Yes.
Pastor Moody, yes. Mr. O'Connell.
Yes.
Dr. Randalls.
Yes.
Mr. Ross. Mrs. Slade. Slade.
Yes.
Dr. Baker.
Yes.
Reverend LeGrand.
We're not gonna do that. Let's stick with mystery, but yes.
Dr. Fogg.
up.
Yes, yes.
Between the doctors and the reverends. Sprinkle on Miss Slade.
You probably did it right. Get ready for another one.
Okay, so the purchasing agenda, what's the right word?
Yep.
The action items passes 8 out of 9 votes.
Get ready for another one now.
Okay, which one?
Do I have a motion for approval of the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay.
Mr. O'Connor, support for that?
Support.
That was Mr. LeGrand. And you can take the vote.
Reverend Matias.
Yes.
Pastor Moody, yes. Mr. O'Connell.
Yes.
Dr. Randalls.
Yes.
Mr. Ross, absent. Mrs. Slade.
Yes.
Dr. Baker.
Yes.
Mr. Reverend LeGrand.
Yes.
Esquire.
Dr. Fogg. Dr. Fogg.
Yes.
Consent agenda passes 8 out of 9.
Thank you, Pastor Mooney. Do we have any public comments for agenda or
I
non-agenda?
have no public comment.
All right. Superintendent's comments?
No comment, Dr. Fogg.
Miss-
Do we need to discuss this board
Oh,
meeting?
yeah. Sorry, Julie.
Oh.
That's okay. Yeah. You sent me an email about it earlier today, and I never looked at it. You could help me out, Ms. Anderson?
The organizational meeting, the date, discussion item.
Yeah, are we changing the date?
January 5th.
Right, we're
January
just
5th.
agreeing that it will be on the
That is
January.
January 5th.
So we agreed that the organizational meeting will be on our first Monday in January.
That's all we need.
Sounds good.
Seeing no opposition to that, let's plan on that.
We'll send
Thank you.
everything out.
Great.
So that, okay.
Thank you, Dr. Baker, and
It's
sorry,
always the first.
sleep at the wheel here. Board member comments. Ms. Slade.
Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving, and I was the grandmother of the groom this weekend.
Oh, congratulations.
That's really scary. But all went well.
Mr. O'Connor?
No comment.
Dr. Randalls?
I do want to make one comment, wood chips are important anytime in a playground as a pediatrician for head injuries and making sure that the playground is very safe. I'm not going to comment in regard to whether we should get them at the city or where they are, but even in December, while there is no snow right now, it's vitally important all the time. Safety is always very important.
Mr. LeGrand?
Well, since Pastor Moody made reference to it, I was indeed happy to be ordained last Sunday, and since he gave them to me in a little bag at the meeting, I will thank Reverend Moody, Pastor Moody, for his reading materials. I think he probably was on my Facebook and saw that what I do when I get Thanksgiving breaks is I just read theology, so I got 3 more books, so thank you.
Reverend Matias.
Yeah, it's great to see our student athletes and, just the building of pride and then those opportunities, whether it's a full ride somewhere or those kinds of opportunities that we can be proud of as a community, so that's great.
Pastor Moody.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Ottawa Hills and Union High Schools for the athletic work that they've done. I'm a Red Hawk by alumnus, and I want to see Union thrust to the top of the chart, and Ottawa as well. Also, I do feel that we should have some concern for Mrs. Wilson's and the laptops that she is referring to. We've got to figure out a way how we can support and help her in that. And be able to be in a position to do both CHIPS and give her what she needs to help her students.
Dr. Baker?
A couple thank yous. First, I think that this is since the last meeting, to Mark Frost and Gideon, the Innovation Central Honor Roll night was pretty incredible to see that gym filled with parents and all celebrating their children's academic success, and there were a lot of people who were deserving of academic success. So it has become a great school. And I'm really impressed with the China trip and what these kids had a chance to. They'll see no boundaries from now on. They'll be able to achieve whatever they want to, and they'll appreciate what they end up seeing. And the turkey, I want to thank Kurt Johnson. It really does not take that many skills or knowledge of the running culture to be able to say on your mark, get set, and then shoot a gun. so although I do enjoy, being in the running culture, and it was more fun than actually running. But yeah, I got to say for those, and I would encourage people who aren't runners to participate next year. So it was really nice. Ron Gorman ran and did very well, and I don't see anybody else in the room that ran.
Didn't he?
Huh?
Did you PR?
He PR'd, yes.
I did. Yes,
that doesn't mean. An hour for the first time.
So, but what was really great about it was two things. It was celebration. It was a celebration of community. It was a celebration of GRPS community, and a lot of people that were there for purposes of celebrating their relationship to GRPS, and I would really encourage people to come out. It's just such a great way to start and feeling like you're a part of something, a bigger family, really, and since that's what that day is about. But also, it's a celebration of Grand Rapids as a community, and so it's really fantastic that it's downtown. I know it probably takes a lot more coordination of effort than college parking lots, but it's certainly way more significant, and it's just a really great, part of the city now. And so really thank the people for doing that extra work and putting it out. It's really nice.
I just want to, at this point in the semester, sometimes things get a little heavy, and I see so many of you out here doing the work and beyond here, the teachers in the classroom, and especially the students to stay strong, keep pushing, finish through, finish strong. So thank you. We are adjourned.